What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the walkthrough, episode 13. So we ended last time at the Morth ruins. What we're going to do to start things off today, though, we actually, I missed an item here, and just for the sake of doing everything that I know exists, I noticed this when I was reviewing the footage for last time. There is one item that, is right next to where I was standing when I was activating the second furnace golem. And it just so happens that I just didn't pan the camera, so I didn't even see it, and I had it in my list here, but I just completely overlooked it. So for that, I apologize. You'll have to forgive me, but we're going back to get it. It's just some smithing stones, so if this is not of concern for you, then don't even worry about it, but I just want to pick it up, because I feel it is my sworn duty as part of making these videos. So we got smithing stone 8x3 right there, and I was, you know, fighting this furnace golem, and I lit him up from this angle, and then I just didn't even pan the camera that way, so I didn't even see it. But anyways, that's all I wanted to take care of real quick. So we're going to go back to the Morth ruins and get started with our business for today. So kind of just a little bit of flavor for what we're going to be doing in this episode. So we're going to be pretty much hitting up this entire kind of eastern part of the Skadu Altus map. So to get there, I know I've showed this before when we were in the Morth ruins for the first time, but there is a way. There's like a giant crater, and there's a way that you can get down. And I showed you the way down, or I at least looked at that pathway, and I showed you that is the pathway, but it did not go down that path. But this is the way. So right over here, just show where it's at on the map. It's right here on the map. You're going to be next to this building. We picked up an item on this rooftop. See that corpse up there? We picked up an item off of that. And then around here is where we want to go for our next step. And this is going to take us underground. And then we're gonna pop up right here. There you go. We got some craftable stuff down here. White flesh mushroom. Let's see, my lantern is not on, so I can't see anything. And some string. So just drop on down here. And there's another spot elsewhere in the Morth ruins where we sort of dropped down to get something. It was a talisman. And I showed you, it was up there, and I showed you that it was too far to drop down. But this way you can actually get all the way to the bottom. So we want to go down this way. There's going to be some horn scent enemies down here. A plunge attack the first one, or miss actually. Go. And here have the golden arcs incantation. So from here we want to drop all the way down to the very bottom. Here we can pick up shadow sunflowers. And this is going to pop us out at a place called Bonny Village. Very significant location in terms of some lore stuff. Climb yet another ladder. All right, here we are. We have arrived. A few things to pick up here. I'll go on and reset the time because I think it's getting dark. All right, so marked some things off on the map. So we're going to be getting like a hefty cracked pot right around here. There's going to be another pickup right around here. And then there's going to be stuff kind of, there's like a little ravine that runs through the middle of the village, and we're going to pick up some stuff here. And then I think there's another hefty cracked pot like right around this area. And then we want something all the way up here as well. So just kind of mark those waypoints on your map. It may not be exactly precise, but you should get the gist of it. Be pretty close. Here we go. Hefty crackpot. A lot of these shadowy guys that are hostile, and there's going to be some, I think there's a greater called Greater Potentate. Yeah, and these guys will come attack you. There's a few of them in here as well. And they're not too bad, but they are more dangerous than the average, like, shadowy enemy, for example. They got this giant butcher knife. So you got a bunch of these shadow guys coming after us now. So fortunately, they go down easy. They can combo you. They have like the slap combo that hurts way more than it should. If you're on torrent, it'll knock that slap combo. If you're on torrent, it'll knock you off torrent like immediately. There we go. I think this is a broken rune. Yep. All right, off to number 2. Got some kukri. Butchering knife should be around here as well. Go. Bonny, a butchering knife. That's the knife that the enemies were using. The Greater Potentate. These guys throwing rocks are... Oh. All right. Next, we're going to drop down here. Pick these up. And while we're down here, I'm going to go on and if you go to the end of this, I was planning on doing this after getting the thing on my next marker, but go on and get it now. Get the Revered Spirit Ash all the way at the end. Watch out for these dogs. This is one of the larger ones that takes multiple hits to take down. So we're going to head southeast, and there's going to be a spot to the left where we can hop up on the other side from where we were before. Okay, so now we're on the other side of the village here. Another one of these guys. Alright. Whatever reason, they're very keen on sharpening their blade as opposed to attacking you all the time, which gives you a nice opening to hit them. Not too bad to take down. Honestly, all of these shadowy guys that are trying to throw rocks at me, that's more of an annoyance than these guys, which are technically a bit tougher. See, they really just like sharpening their knife. They do also attack, but they do prioritize the knife sharpening probably more than they should. All right, got another hefty crackpot. And then way out here, this is something that you have to pick up to unlock an area later on. Got to get this. This is the Oh Mother gesture. We're going to need to use this gesture to unlock an area later. And then what we're going to do now is we're going to cross this bridge all the way to the south. There's going to be another jail dungeon down here. Hop back across. We're just going to go to the south to get to this dungeon here. That's going to be our next order of business. Gonna be some scorpions on the way. Just watch out for them. You remember these from the Bellurat Tower settlement. Definitely creepy looking enemies. All right, so here we are at the Bonny Jail. Okay, so this dungeon is relatively straightforward. But there is a lot to get. It is large, but fairly linear. With a couple exceptions. A lot of these jar innard type enemies. Oh geez, he exploded on me. That was bad. Okay, so if you kill that thing first, just go directly back behind you. Got a frozen maggot. And then you'll notice these jars to the left. If you drop very carefully, this is actually going to be an elevator. Very easy to miss this thing. See, we got a switch here, so we can call the elevator to ride it back up. So in here, there's not really anything. You want to go down here, and I think an innards is going to pop out. Yep. Even though I knew it, I still got hit by it. Go. And here, another ambush. And most importantly, another hefty cracked pot. So these things are very useful for crafting pretty powerful throwables. Which of course we are using to kill some of the furnace golems. We used some last episode to kill some furnace golems. Now that we've done that, we're going to ride this back up. Here's where we were before. So go in here. There's really not any important loot, but there are some frozen maggots on the floor that we'll pick up. And yeah, there's a hole right there. We're going to come back through here later. And in here, there's another ambush. There's lots of ambushes in this jail. This guy's going to try to grab you. Alright, so we got some bolts. This guy's not really a threat, but take him out anyways. There's another ambush in here, yep. He's going to try to grab you. Right here, we want to drop down this hole. Okay, so we got a broken rune here. So facing away from this grate, like facing this wall, we're going to head to the right first. On this path, you're going to come across some rats. Just take them out as you go. This room's going to have a big rat. Along with her babies. Alright, so here you want to hug the wall to the right because there's a pretty subtle opening in there. You can get this item, some smithing stone too. Go all the way down. There's going to be a ladder at the end of this path that we want to go up. Another ambush at the top. Some innards coming out. Just watch out for that. And here, We have the Stalwart Horn Charm +2, which I believe increases your resistance to bleed. Remember I pointed out that hole? I said that we're going to drop back through. Here we are. So drop through, and then we're just going to go right back down to where we were before, but instead of going right, we're going to go left. And this time, you know those blob enemies that hang on the ceiling that try to drop down, and you're going to want to watch out for those because there's a bunch of them around here that are going to try to drop on you. Just keep your eyes peeled. See, they're on the ceiling right there. We're just going to go straight. We're going to reach a dead end with an item. Watch out for more blobs on the ceiling. You don't want them to grab you when they fall down. So what's going to happen is you didn't notice it running here, but there's actually a fork on the way back. And at the fork, we're going to take a right. We came down this path. Now we're going to go take the right path. And at this fork, we're going to take a left. Short little dead end. Another blob on the ceiling. Got some invigorating cured meat. Here. We're going to drop down. And there's going to be a bunch of pots in here that we're going to kill. It's a pretty wide open room. There's a bunch of the pot enemies. There's some big one, big and small. Got another big boy. Oh, I missed, and he landed his belly flop. Up against the gate here. This guy's gonna come alive. Got an item up here. Rune. Another item over here to the right. This is a drop from an enemy, but this is the pickup. Lost Ashes of War. There's an item up there. We can't get to it yet. We will get there later. All right. So we got to drop down again. Right here by the item, there's going to be an ambush. More innards. Now we can pick up the item. Innard meat. More innards. See, there's some innards chilling in a pot over there. And then in the pot, there's an item. Raw meat dumplings. I think that's it for this room. I think that's a drop from the innards. That's where we came through. So on to the next room. I think there's another ambush in here. There's a lot of ambushes in this particular dungeon. Maybe not a bad idea to use the blasphemous blade because I've only got 6 heals left and we still have the boss. The boss isn't that bad though. Alright, so head down these stairs to the left. Back in the cell, Silverhorn Tender. And there's another ambush in here, a grabby guy. There's really not much in here. Just go and open the door. Another lonely guy. So this jar is an elevator that takes us down, but then if you stay on it, it takes you up past where we just dropped down from. So you want to stay on it, don't get off, ride it all the way up, all the way up. That's where we drop down, right here. We want to take this all the way up. Here we go. Here we got the knight armor set. Very cool looking armor set. Then up here is that item that I said that we would get to later. And this is the shield of knight, goes with the armor set we just picked up. Alrighty, so what we can do from here. Drop here on this jar. Drop back down to where we were originally. And now we're just going to take this elevator down. There we've got the boss. But not before we get more ambushes from these guys. He's firing the projectiles. Ugh. Trying to conserve my health here. As I said, the Blasphemous Blade is not a bad option for this place for that reason. That health regen. And the boss isn't that bad, especially if you summon. It's basically a slightly souped up version of the Curse Blade enemies that we've been fighting. And those enemies are trouble if you're not careful. But since in this case you can summon a mimic for the fight, it's not as bad. I'm gonna buff up ahead of time. I'm not going to use Flame Grant Me Strength, but I am going to summon as soon as we get in. It's hard to see. I think the Curse Blade somehow darkens the room. Come on, Mimic, do your thing. If I can heal up. There we go. Mimic is just straight up going to kill it. And I don't think I got a single hit in that entire fight. That's hilarious. So as I said, yeah, get the Mimic in and it's not a big deal. Curse Blade Mira. Get the summon Spirit Ashes. Got a bunch of runes, can pretty easily level up here, I would think. All right. So from here, I'm just going to warp back to here, this side of Grace. Definitely going to level up. And at this point, you know, since I'm not getting that much of a benefit to strength, I'm probably going to alternate between mind, endurance, and strength. So mind will give me a little bit of extra FP, so that way I'm not having to use my blue flask as often when I use my special skills. So where we're headed now is right here. There's a thing that we want to get. And then over here is our next site of grace. Right around here is an Ash of War via a Scarab. Then right around here is going to be another Furnace Golem. Since it's evening, I'm going to go ahead and warp it. Warp the time. So this furnace golem is slightly different than any of the other ones we've faced. And I'll show you what I mean by that when we get there. Got my lantern on? Yes, I do. Took it off though. There we go. Now we're going to ignore all the enemies, including these guys, and hop across. We're going to take these bridges over to the east. And over here, we have the whipping hut, I think it's called. We get the tooth whip. Very interesting weapon. We have this guy. You see he's kind of in a pose like he is whipping somebody. For pity's sake, your place is in the jar. Nigh sainthood itself awaits you within. For shamans like you, this is your lot. Life were you accorded for this alone. So he's speaking specifically to shamans. So keep that in mind. Speaking of shamans, and if we look at our tooth whip that we just got, wonderful weapon here. A whip bestrewn with rotting, misshapen teeth, filthy and seething with disease. The teeth are embedded in the whip and dose the victim with deadly poison upon each strike. As the wounds ripen, they grow inflamed and ooze pus. The flesh of shamans was said to meld harmoniously with others. So what these people were doing here in this village is they were killing shamans and stuffing them into these jars. So you notice, up all along there, you see all these jars. They're stuffing these shamans into jars, which is why, there's tons of jars all around this village and in the jail over there. And so if you're wondering what those innards that we've been fighting in these jails are, this would be it. They're stuffing these shamans, they're killing the shamans, they're stuffing them into jars, and as it says here, the wounds ripen as they grow inflamed and ooze pus. The flesh of shamans was said to meld harmoniously with others. So it's like a big, pile of remains of these shamans stuffed into these jars. And if you remember, there was another jail that we were at earlier where there was another ghost. He was like begging, don't put me in the pot, don't put me in the pot. So that's what they were doing to these people here in this village. So definitely some dark stuff. But we'll learn more about that even so a bit later as well. So keep all of this in mind as we go. Not the, not the happiest of stuff to be contemplating, but hey, it's the world of Elden Ring. What do you expect? So we got our next site of grace. No need to rest at this one. But there is going to be a scarab that's going to give us an Ash of War. This Ash of War can be used with the Beast Claws weapons that we got, I think, probably way back in the first episode if you've been using those. So this particular scarab is one that teleports if you get close to it. So in order to bust it open, you got to attack it from afar. It just so happens in this area, there's all of these wolves, and the wolves are hostile. They'll attack you. They're not like most of the other wildlife that are pretty benign. These guys will aggro right to you as soon as you get in the area, and they'll start attacking you, so you got to take them out. You hear the twinkling, so you want to attack this thing from afar. A couple shots should get it, but yeah, it did. Dang it, I didn't get it before it teleported. So once it teleports, you got to find where's the next spot. And you can use like the twinkling, especially if you're using headphones. It's easy to kind of tell what direction the twinkling is coming from, and that'll lead you to where the scarab's at. We got Ash of War, Raging Beast. As I said, it is a Ash of War that can be equipped on the Beast Claws. And for now, what you want to do is we're going to want to craft some more hefty furnace pots. And as I've said before, if you don't have the materials for the furnace pots, hefty fire pots will do. They just won't do as much damage. So let's see. We'll get 6 of these. That should be more than enough. Three should be enough to get the furnace golem. Just gonna travel straight down this road. There is our friend, the raptor. So you see, this one has armor around the legs. So even if you wanted to, you would not be able to take this one out conventionally, like the other ones that we have, with the exception of one of them from the previous episode that we threw the furnace pots into. Since that one has armor around the legs, you have to kill it by throwing stuff into its basket. Now the problem is you have to wait for it to get close enough to you before you can actually throw stuff in it. And now he's doing his, fireball attack. Hopefully I'll be safe-ish here. We'll see. For the most part, looks like it. That actually worked. I'm slightly shocked that that actually worked. So throw on your, equip your hefty furnace pots, and when it gets close, like it is now. Oh, see, he's got a new attack. He can jump up and swipe you. Oh crap, I meant to heal there. I wasted a pot. Alright. Let's chuck him. That one missed. That one hit me again. He hit me again with his swipe. Another one in the basket here. Oh, he's backing away. No, that was not good. Alright. So I'm being a little bit wasteful here, unfortunately. Just be careful because you can run out of these furnace pots because they do require the furnace visages to craft. And the furnace visages are not always easy to come by. This guy is not cooperating at all. Dang it, he's doing it again. This is probably gonna kill me. Oh, okay, I've gotten lucky. Doing it again. Good grief. Yeah, I'm dead. No? That is shocking. Okay. So one more pot should get him here. Throw it in. And we're done. That was a little bit more trouble. That wasn't as clean as I would have liked. But we got the job done. Cerulean sapping, cracked tier, and another furnace visage. So that tier, if you put it inside of your flask, I believe it recovers FP when you deal damage. I think that's what it does. Okay, so where we're gonna go next is, you see up on this cliff, there's actually a jar that has a bell bearing in it. To get the vantage point that you need to actually hit it with an arrow, though, we need to sort of climb up here first. And there are a bunch of wolves around here, as it would turn out. Whoop. Oh my gosh. Here's a white one. These ones are a bit tougher. Alright, so here's what we want to hit, and it's going to drop below us, so we're going to have to circle back around. Get down to it. And this one's actually pretty good. This one, if you turn it in to the maidens at Round Table Hold, it allows you to purchase knot resin and root resin, which is required for crafting grease. That stuff is farmable, but until now we were not able to actually purchase it. So this keeps you from having to farm if you run out of the materials to craft the grease with. Okay, so we're pretty much just gonna follow this road now until we get to our next site of grace, which is a little bit up the way here. You see up here we have a rise, which, if you remember those from the base game, pretty much the same concept. Sort of like a puzzle to get to the top. So I'm going to rest here, replenish all my stuff. And that is our next destination, right up there. This is Rabith's Rise. Around the base of the tower, there's going to be a bunch of fireflies. Just FYI, if you wish to pick these up. And you'll notice around the side here, we've got a blocked spirit spring. The trick with the shackles should work here, but I'm going to show you where the actual thing is to unclog it. So if you go through here, Rabith's Rise. Same layout as the others. They're probably familiar with it in the base game. You go up here where the elevator normally is. The elevator is not there. Does not move. So what you have to do is over here, there's an illusory wall. And then this is where the thing is. You have to bust to activate the spirit spring. So now we're going back to the spirit spring. You want to line yourself up to jump so that you land on that walkway up there. So align yourself pretty much southwest orientation. Once you land up here, you're good. You can circle around and activate the elevator that was broken before. All the way at the top. We get Rabith's Cannon, which is a, as you would guess, a cannon type weapon. So we're going to warp back to the Grace. We're going to make it night because there's a larval tier around here that we need to pick up. Okay, so where we're headed next, the larval tier that we want is over here, and then we're going to head down here to this cathedral. See the glowy tombstones, as always. That is where our larval tier is hidden. Pick it up, and then we're going to head to this cathedral. And around this cathedral, we have those marionette enemies. One of my least favorite enemy types from Elden Ring, but they're making their appearance here as well. Those things gave me so much trouble in the Ray Lucaria Academy. Oh, man. They could be a handful. So inside this cathedral are some NPCs that have a side quest for us that we're going to do. We're not going to do much with that side quest just yet, but we're going to go ahead and do the steps to get it started at the very least. And in here we're going to have a Grace. And then with this Grace, I'm going to warp it back to daytime since we got the larval tier already. Pass the time until morning. The person we want to talk to is all the way down here at the end. This is Ymir, I think his name is.
Well, we don't often receive visitors. I am Ymir. Welcome to Manus Meta. It is a pleasure to have you. In lands so forsaken as these, chance encounters are precious indeed. Seeing that we have convened here on this day, allow me to mark the occasion with a modest offering.
All right, so we got the whole Leda necklace, which is required for this side quest, as well as a ruins map.
The map I gave you charts the site of a hallowed ruin. It is said that after sounding the hanging bell there, one's fate will be guided by the stars. I only wish to be of service, to help those who fight for their purpose. I'm not mistaken, am I? I can see it in your eyes. You are a fighter, are you not? Is something the matter? I've given you a map to... Oh, I suppose you expect a lesson of... I know the feeling. Those with purpose for power.
Okay, so we can learn some spells from him. Some of these are from the base game, some of them are new. I believe Miriam's vanishing is new.
I am a glintstone. We study the stars and examine the life. Are you familiar? Long ago, we began as stardust. We too are children of the greater will. Is that not divine? And yet, none can fathom its implications. Oh yes, do mind your feet around the church. You wouldn't want to hurt the little boy.
Now that we've talked to him, another NPC is right here now.
I've no interest in small talk. My only concerns are the concerns of Count Ymir, and you are not among them. Only, there is one thing I will say. Count Ymir's kindness is a gift. Should you cross him, you will sorely regret it. Be gone. There is nothing more to...
Now we can go back to him.
Is something here to scoot?
You can ask about the knight.
Ah, you met Yulan. Well, I hope that the poor girl has overcome grave misfortune. Her tongue can be sharp at the best of times, but don't think that makes her a bad person. It's no surprise her little sister, too, has a heart of gold.
All right. So what we're going to do now is there's some loot around this cathedral that we're going to pick up. So right around here is a cookbook. And then around here is a starlight shard. There's some more like materials over here. And then we're going to go around here for an Ash of War. Kind of make a big circle around the perimeter of this cathedral. Cannot summon Torrent until we get outside, so. Bunch of these marionette enemies all around here. I'm pretty much ignoring them all. I do not wish to fight. All right, the cookbook is on a corpse around here. It's kind of hard to see, but it is here. Maybe I put the marker down in the wrong place. There it is. It was in the right spot, but as I said, it's just kind of slumped over, kind of hard to see. And over here, we got the starlight shards in front of this little altar looking thing. Bunch of wolves as well. And then for this next item, we actually need to be up there. So we're going to head up these stairs and then turn left. There we go. Glinting nail. And what we're going to do now, kind of hug this cliff until you find a spot that's safe to drop down. That's a bit too far for now. Okay, travel north until we get to a spot where we can actually drop down to the left. This should be fine. Yeah. It's going to take it south from here. Then when we get all the way down, there's going to be a cave to the left. Here we go. And inside the cave, the scarab on the roof, knock it down, take it out. We get Ash of War, Carrion Sovereignty. So this is very similar. If you remember Rolana, how she had the two slices with the giant carrion sword. That Ash of War is very similar. I'm going to take away the beacon. We're going to warp back to the race here. Okay, so where we're going next is up on this cliff here. There's some items for us right around here, and then our final cookbook from the Forager Brood is up there. That should be the cookbook number 6, which is the last one that we need of the 7. So we have, of the 7, we have the remaining ones, and this is the one that completes the set up here. So what that means is after we pick it up, we can finish Morth's quest line. Around here, you got a spirit gravestone. Watch out for these guys coming up. It's a glovewort, I believe. Yep. Here. Blessed bone shard. Run away from these guys. Forager Brood is all the way back in this corner. There it is. Got Forager Brood Cookbook 6. So now that we've got that, we're going to warp back to Morth. All the way back here. Main gate cross right outside the Belluret Tower settlement. And just to double check, gonna look in the inventory, make sure we got them all. Should have all 7. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're good. So talk to Morth.
Hello. I don't know. Our mother abandoned. She did not love us. We are, must we be?
Okay, so you have 3 options. If you say put it behind you, he's going to move away, and you're not going to see him again until the end of the game. And at that point, you will be able to get his armor and his shield. Arguably, perhaps the best armor and best shield in the game if you're going just for raw damage negation. So you'll be able to access that at the end of the game. You say remain sad forever. It's not his happiest ending per se, but it allows you to get his stuff right now, which is what I'm going to do now. I would suggest that if you want Morth's gear, this is the best way to do it without blocking you out of the rest of his quest of getting the other Forager Brood cookbooks. If you say, I don't know, he's just going to stay here until you give him an answer definitively. So I'm going to tell him to remain sad forever. His quote unquote maybe best ending is probably this one, but it locks you out of getting his stuff till later. So I'm going to say remain sad forever, even though that's not his best ending per se, but it allows us to get his stuff right now.
Sad, sad, forever and ever.
Poor guy.
Goodbye.
So if you rest, he's going to move on. He is no longer here. Oh, he is here.
Sad.
Okay, interesting.
You come off. You enjoy things.
Okay, you have to talk to him again. That's what it is.
Finding things. I like you. I for you. Things bring joy to all. I for you. Things.
Now let's rest again. And he should move away. He has not. Well, then in that case, I'm going to go ahead and travel to where he should be going, which is up here. Let's see if he's still back there. Yes, he is not back there anymore. Okay, so that's what you have to do. You just have to go in and travel. So where he's going to be at is, you remember that Forager Brood where we had to use the warming stone on it to heal it before he would give you the cookbook? Well, Morth goes up there. So it is a bit of a hike to get there, but that's where he's going to be. And he's just going to be laying on the ground dead, and you'll be able to pick up his stuff. As I said, arguably the best armor and shield in the game if you're just going for raw damage negation. There are some categories where where the bull goat set's going to do better, but there are some categories where this armor set's going to do better. And then if you want to put this up against the fingerprint shield, this has better guard boost if you level it all the way up than the fingerprint shield does. However, the fingerprint shield allows you to equip Ashes of War, whereas his shield does not, because it requires the somber stones to level up, whereas the the fingerprint shield takes the normal leveling up path with normal smithing stones. But this shield does have better guard boost at max levels, so perhaps is the better option than even the fingerprint shield. It really just depends on what you want. So let's going to go ahead and pick up the item. We get his bell bearing, so if we return that to the Twin Maiden Husks in the Round Table Hold, that allows us to open up his shop. We also got the Verdigris Great Shield and all of his armor. So this is the quickest way to get his armor after getting all of the cookbooks. If you want to get his armor even earlier, what you could do is you could kill some of these forager broods, and then eventually he's going to invade you. And if you kill him as the invader, then you get his stuff that way too. But if you want all the cookbooks, this is the quickest way to end his quest line and get his stuff. So, all that being said, we're going to warp back here. We're just going to follow this road all the way to the next grace. And that's where we're going to wrap things up for today. So instead of going up like we did before, we're just going to go straight through this gate here. And this is going to take us to the back entrance of the Shadow Keep. So there's still more to this dungeon that we haven't gotten to yet. So you notice in Shadow Keep, we pretty much did all of this. Well, there's still all of this, and that's where this back entrance is going to take us. And then there's going to be some other stuff here in the storehouse that following this path will unlock for us. So we're going to spend pretty much all of the next episode back in Shadow Keep, doing the other side. And here we are. We have arrived. So as I said, this is where we're going to wrap things up for now. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for more when we go back into the Shadow Keep and knock out the rest of it. Really appreciate all of you guys. Have a good one. And until next time, take care.